If you don't own these 10 fishing products, Chuck Norris will roundhouse kick you directly to the face. Okay, maybe he won't, but I might. So what are these 10 fishing products and how can they help you as an angler? My name's Tyler, and let's talk about it. Another giant, another giant. Look at that, y'all. I can't believe what I just caught. Yes! So I know that product videos can be incredibly pushy on YouTube. You know, the YouTuber's like a salesman trying to pitch you guys a product they're sponsored by, and that is not at all what I want this video to be like. I have been hardcore bass fishing for 10 plus years, and so I've got a list of products, of items that have made my fishing life easier, and I think if you implement them and pick them up for yourself, can increase your catch rate and become a better angler. So let's start with the list with number 1. And the first item on my list for every bass angler out there is going to be a heavy power bait casting rod. Now, I'm gonna first explain why bait caster, and then I'm gonna go into why a heavy power. So why a bait caster over a spinning rod? Well, I think most people out there begin their fishing journey by fishing a spinning rod, and there's nothing wrong with that. I still use plenty of spinning rods in my day-to-day bass fishing all across the country, from ponds, lakes, rivers, and streams. Any species of bass, heck, any species of fish, I use a spinning rod. But a bait casting reel, I will fight this to the day I die. It is a hill I'm willing to die on. A bait casting reel is a more accurate casting reel. You can be more efficient on the water, get more casts in per minute, and of course catch more fish with a bait casting reel. And so that is why if you are getting into bass fishing and maybe you've kind of maxed out your skill level to a certain extent on the spinning rod and you want to level up, become an even better and more efficient angler, a bait casting reel is the one for you. Now I know it can be daunting, but I've got tons of videos on my channel that teach you guys how to become a better bait casting user, to eliminate backlashes, and of course catch more fish. So that is the why of bait caster. Now why the heavy power rod? Well, in my experience, when you level up in your bass fishing, you start throwing more lures like big worms, jigs, swim baits, topwater frogs, big topwater walking baits, heavy spinner baits, and vibrating jigs. And those things, those types of lures, are best thrown on a longer, usually heavy power rod. And the reason for that is because, well, you need a longer rod to get longer casting distance, and you need the stiffness of that heavy to get a fish out of cover, to get a fish into the boat or onto the bank. And so if you are, you know, in your arsenal, you have a few spinning rods and maybe one bait caster, and you're looking for a good all-purpose topwater and heavy bait. So when I say heavy bait, I mean like heavy jig, big swim bait. I think a 7.4 heavy is the perfect rod all-purpose for that. Matter of fact, I made an entire video talking about all the advantages of this specific rod right here. I will leave that video linked in the video description. Be anything from 7.2 to 7.6, but I think a 7.3 or 7.4 heavy is the perfect rod for that. So pick up whatever brand rod you like. I work with Lew's, so I have the Lew's 7.4 KVD GC7, that stands for Graphite Casting 7. I love this rod. I've caught so many big fish on this rod. It is crazy. It holds up to 10 pounders as well as 2 to 3 pounders. And like I said, it is a perfect all-purpose rod for your heavier style of bass fishing. So if you want to advance in your skills, be able to more comfortably throw heavier style lures, you're gonna need a heavy action rod. I think every angler needs one of these things. Now the number 2 item I have for every bass angler kind of goes along with the heavy action rod, and that is a jig. Over the last few years, I have fished in all different kinds of places, from the bank, the kayak, and the bass boat, and I cannot tell you how many fish I've caught on the jig, and I also can't even count how many fish over 4 pounds I've caught on the jig. Now, part of the reason I'm making this video is because I feel like so many people out there join bass fishing, they start fishing, and they just throw a simple selection of lures. And yes, that can catch you fish from the day you start till the day you die. But if you want to truly increase your chances of catching your new personal best, I'm talking a fish over 4 pounds. If that's you out there, your PB is not over 4 pounds, you need to commit to learning about the jig. I don't know what it is about the jig, but it just catches a bigger than average fish, but still gets plenty of bites. If you're in a pond or a lake that has some kind of harder bottom, at least I'm classifying this as hard, not mucky, not snot grass, any good vegetation or good hard clay or rock, you can throw a jig. And matter of fact, you should be throwing a jig. My favorite jig is an Outcast Tackle juice jig in usually 3/8 or 1/2 ounce. And I think the best color possible is peanut butter and jelly. I'm gonna say this again, I have caught giant fish in ponds this year on a jig, in shallow water on a jig, in deep water on a jig. I've caught fish under docks on a jig, in grass on a jig, flipping a jig, and swimming a jig. There are no places that I can't throw a jig, like I said, except for the places that have really mucky, soft bottoms or snot grass in the water that's gonna get around your jig and impede the action and the look of it. If that's the situation for you, continue throwing your weightless soft plastics and your baits higher in the water column. But if you've got any kind of clean bottom and you wanna catch a bigger fish, every angler needs to be throwing a jig. And the third thing on our list that kind of goes along with the jig itself is something I put on the jig, and that is a craw style soft plastic. In a recent video that I will leave linked below, I talked about why I think the craw or the creature bait style of soft plastic is the most versatile of all the soft plastic lures. And so if you're somebody out there who recently picked up bass fishing, you're going down the aisles and you're thinking, I could pick up this craw, this creature bait, but you know what? I've caught fish on this worm, I've caught fish on this swim bait, so I'm just gonna stick with what I know. Sticking with what you know is a great way to stick with what you've caught. If you want to catch bigger fish and more fish, be able to understand how to apply certain lures to different situations, aka become a better angler, you're going to want to pick up some kind of craw style bait. Whatever brand you like out there, whether it's 6 Sense or Guggen or you know, Big Bite Baits, whatever the heck brand you like. I work with Strike King. I'm biased, I know, but I think the Strike King Rage Craw is the most versatile soft plastic lure out there. You can put this thing as a trailer on any style jig, on any vibrating jig, on a spinnerbait. You can rig it by itself, you can skip it, you can flip it. It is so stinking versatile. Carolina rig, whatever bass fishing situation you have in front of you, the Rage Craw can handle the job. Now, all the stuff that I'm talking about will be linked in the video description. If you guys are gonna purchase any of this stuff, especially around the holiday season, please click those links. They are all affiliate links, and so shopping through those helps the TRF channel continue to grow. Now, moving on to number 4 on my list of things every bass angler needs, and that is scissors. Now, you're probably saying right now, Tyler, why the heck is scissors on your list? That is a no-brainer. Well, in all the traveling I've done, I found that for so many anglers, scissors are not a no-brainer. A certain portion of anglers still likes to use the little snippers that are on the inside of a pair of pliers, and trust me, those things get dull so fast and cannot give you a good, accurate snip, whether you're tying the line onto the spool of your bait caster or onto a brand new lure. I just think scissors are the stinking best. As a matter of fact, I love scissors so much that my dad and I both get each other scissors every single year for Christmas, and we hang them on the Christmas tree almost like an ornament. And you know why? Because I'm always losing these things, and I always need a new pair because of how much I fish. They're getting dull after about a year, but trust me, that is way more use than I would get out of a pair of nail clippers, and I feel like I'd lose nail clippers even faster than I do scissors. Now, my 2 favorite scissors are the KVD scissors here, brand new ones from Strike King or Lose, I forget who, and the other ones is the Rapala scissors. I have had these every year for probably 6 to 7 years in my boat, in my arsenal. I think they're like $3 on Tackle Warehouse. Again, all this stuff will be linked in the video description. If you continually find yourself not having something on the water to cut your line with, or cut whatever fabric your treble hook is stuck in, you need a good pair of scissors. And as a matter of fact, you need a few pairs of scissors. This is silly that it's on the list, but trust me, it has helped my life as an angler. So whether you need them or your son, daughter, aunt, uncle, whatever, get your friends some scissors. Moving on to number 5 on my list, and that is one of the only pieces of clothing on this list, and it is the AFCO Yuri sun shirt. I spend so many days out in the harsh elements, especially in the sun, making videos for you guys. It's an awesome job, I'm not gonna complain about it, but it does open up my skin to the possibility of skin cancer, probably earlier than most people. So you'll see in almost every single video on my channel, if it's not cold outside, I'm wearing the AFCO Yuri sun shirt in multiple colors. And the reason why I love this shirt so much is because it is moisture wicking. It comes with a buff attached and a hoodie. And so with the whole shirt on and your sunglasses, nothing on your entire upper body besides, I guess, your hands is exposed to the sun. You are fully protected. This shirt is incredibly comfortable, so stinking soft, and comes in some awesome colors. I cannot recommend this shirt highly enough. And you can use code TRF 2022, and I think going into next year, TRF 2023, to save 15% on your order. There is no reason to not get yourself and your loved ones an AFCO Yuri shirt. And if you don't like the price on the Yuri, they have some awesome other options like the Samurai that don't have the built-in face shield that are still great sun shirts. So moving on to number 6 on my list. This here is an item that I use all the time. Y'all see it in videos, and a few of you have asked about it, but I've never had the chance to talk about it in length. and that is my net. Now, I understand bank fishermen out there, you guys might not use a net a whole lot, but if you're a hybrid fisherman, somebody that bank fishes and kayak, or kayak and bass boat, or vice versa, you're gonna be using a net of some kind. And here's why I love this Yak Attack net so much. And trust me, I'm not sponsored or paid to say this. I bought this myself. Almost every single time I'm on the water, I am fishing alone. And so if I hook into a big fish, I'm not gonna risk it and try to like lip the fish. It could jump, shake my hook. I've had it happen too much. I use a net to almost guarantee that I land that fish, get it on camera for you guys, and make those memories. I get comments all the time of people saying like, how could you use a net? You're a wimp for using a net. I don't care. Say what you want. Nets are awesome. And specifically this net. Let me show you why. That's why. You saw that right. This net here is fully collapsible and easily clips into place to allow you to land that fish. Now that's cool and all, but the thing I love most about this net is that it is not a straight pull coming off the net. You'll see in most pro fishing tournaments, most YouTubers out there, they have a net that requires two hands. One hand near the front of the net here and a second hand on the back, almost like you're like scooping a shovel. And I'm sure that most people think a net like that is the best option because the handle can be the longest, so you can actually extend it, the farthest away from the boat to get that fish in the net. The problem with that net is twofold. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stand up to show y'all. So the first problem with that net is that when you go to scoop in the water, I'm gonna hold it up here to show you guys. When you go to scoop in the water acts as a force on either side of that net. And if you don't have some kind of leverage to keep that net from spinning side to side because the water is forcing you, it's hard to move a net in the water. I've seen it happen so many times where you'll scoop the net in the water, the fish takes a run, and it's really hard to move the net sideways because you're holding a pole with your two wrists. So it totally depends on your wrist strength. That's the first problem. And the second comes because when you're fishing by yourself and you're trying to hold a single pole with your hand, it's even harder to do that than it is with two hands. I'm just speaking for myself here. My wrist strength is not strong enough with one arm, but it is when the net is bent and your arm fits into a little thing right here to hold the net. Look at that. And you might be saying, Tyler, that's cool and all, but can this thing really hold up to a big fish? Like if I go to scoop this thing, is it gonna break? Am I gonna actually miss the fish? Two answers to that, no and no. I've caught a 14 pounder, a 10 pounder, all inside of this net. So first off, it's big enough to hold a 14 pounder. So whatever bass you're catching, it's probably not 14, it can fit in this net. And I have so many examples on my channel of having to make a quick redirect with my hand to get where that fish is going in the water. And the only way to do that with one hand on the net and the other hand on a rod is to have the net supported by your forearm, because it's almost like you're like sword fighting. I can easily move the net around, and by having my hand on the net alone, like on the pole, I couldn't do that. And I feel like every net at this point should have a rubber type netting, but they still don't all have that. So when your treble hooks get stuck in a net, it's so hard to take them out. So again, I cannot recommend this net highly enough. Ditch the net you have in your boat and pick up this one linked in the video description. So this is the net, that's number 6. Now let's talk about number 7, which is Kayak Wheels. Now, if you are not a kayak fisherman, you can skip to number 8 right now. But I think kayak wheels are an incredibly important thing for every kayaker to have, unless of course it is a super light kayak, you're only bringing like a bag of soft plastics and one rod and reel, fine, you don't need wheels. But now after having a kayak that has wheels, my native Titan has wheels, I do not know how I'd ever own a kayak again without wheels, because you're gonna have so many situations where you show up to the body of water with your kayak, you realize it's farther away from the parking lot than you thought it was, and now you have to drag all of your stuff or maybe find someone to help you carry it all down there, and that's a hassle. Find yourself some wheels. I don't care if you have to jerry rig them on there, just get some wheels on your stinking kayak. So that's number 7. It's super quick, but I think to level up your kayak fishing game, you need wheels on your kayak. It's simple. Number 8 on my list of things every angler needs, and this is definitely not sponsored, but I kind of wish it was, and that is you need some kind of lip balm, specifically an SPF lip balm. Never in my life did I think I'd be sitting here on a fishing channel talking about lip balm, but I'm telling you, it is necessary as an angler, especially if you spend time on the water on windy days, cold days, sunny. Actually, matter of fact, that's every day. And I don't care if you fish 1 day out of the year or 100 days, you and your loved ones need to take care of your lips, because lips are an easily sunburned, easily windburned part of your face. Now, putting on a buff will help with that, but oftentimes in super windy, cold conditions, your lips can get chapped and therefore will lead to bad pain on the water. I've experienced this so many times where I just don't want to fish because my mouth hurts. And so the two things that I've been using this summer and fall that helped dramatically, again, I'm talking about this because it's important to me, is the Aquaphor Lip Repair Stick plus sunscreen. It is a SPF 30 stick. I will show a B-roll shot right here, but it is pretty heat resistant. So oftentimes lip balms, chapsticks will melt in heat, melt in the car. I have not found this one unless it's like 100 degrees outside to melt, so that's important. And also it is SPF to protect your skin. Now, let's say you go out there and you forget your lip balm, your lips still get sunburned. What do you do to recover those lips? This is so weird. Why? I don't know what to say. This stuff works. The Blistex Medicated Lip Balm. This stuff just works wonders, almost like the working man's hands cream for cracked fingers, cracked hands, cuts and scrapes. The Blistex for your lips is fantastic. Again, I use these two as a 1-2 punch. Hopefully, I wear the Aquaphor enough that I don't need to use the Blistex, but we all know that I forget to put this stuff on, and I'm sure you do as well. If you're dealing with the chafing of your lips, put on the Blistex. Now, enough of the off-the-wall products. Let's move on to number 9 on my list, and that is Polarized Sunglasses. Polarized sunglasses are so important that I actually made a specific video about all the reasons why you need them as an angler. I'm not going to go over all those reasons, but for looking in the water and protecting your eyes, you need a pair of good polarized sunglasses. I don't have a sunglass sponsor. I've worked with Amphibia. They send me a few pairs every once in a while, so I like their glasses. I like the way they fit on my face. I like the way they look. I like the fact they float. If you can find me another pair of polarized sunglasses that float and fit my head well as look cool, I will switch. But until then, these are my sunglasses. I will have them linked in the video description. But what is really important is that you guys find what sunglasses work for you. I don't care if it's the $20 Mike Iaconelli glasses at Walmart or a pair of $235 Costas. Find whatever glasses fit on your face, are not going to fall off easily, and are a great polarized filter or film on them, and you're going to have better success on the water. I'm just telling you guys, I can see more stuff through the water in good and bad lighting conditions with a pair of polarized sunglasses than I could with regular sunglasses or no sunglasses at all. And again, I cannot stress highly enough how important polarized sunglasses are. And we have finally reached the end of the list, number 10 of fishing items every angler needs, and this is definitely an odd one. It's another piece of clothing, but it's the shoes that I wear, and they are Adidas. You can't even see it. Adidas Ultra Boosts. Now, think what you want about Adidas as a company, morals, values, but I love these shoes. And if you're gonna spend a lot of time on the water, I don't care if you're bank beating in a kayak or on a bass boat, you need a pair of shoes that are gonna be incredibly comfortable. Now, I've been approached by several different fishing apparel companies that have shoes, boat shoes and gym shoes, water shoes, kind of like, crossbreeds between those types of shoes. And I've tried them all. I cannot find a pair of shoes that fit my foot, a slightly skinnier foot, a slightly flatter foot, than the Adidas Ultra Boost. Now, of course, this is the number on the list that's going to apply to the least amount of people, but if you're struggling to find a good shoe, I cannot recommend the Adidas Ultra Boost enough. It is so comfortable. Matter of fact, it feels like I'm walking on clouds. And I know that a bunch of fishermen and content creators will tell you the shoe they're sponsored by feels like clouds. They're lying. It doesn't. Trust me, I've tried their shoes. And just like a good shirt helps me become a better angler, the sunglasses do as well, and keeping my skin and my lips in good condition. All of that may seem kind of trivial or not important, but to me as an angler, and again, this is my list, my channel, I think all of these help me become a better angler, and you as well. And I think good, comfortable shoes that you can stand for a long, long time in is going to help you become a better fisherman, more comfortable, and catch more fish on the water. Now, the theme of this video was all about items, fishing things that every angler I think needs to up their game. But if you want to become a truly better angler, I made a video talking about the top 3 things, mindset shifts that anglers must have to go from a good angler to a truly great angler. I will leave that video up here in this corner. I truly think this video here will help you guys become a better angler. So if you want to, click that link right there. As always, it has been a pleasure, and we'll see you guys next time right here on TRF.